A fractal is a never-ending pattern. Fractals are infinitely complex patterns that are self-similar across different scales. They are created by repeating a simple process over and over in an ongoing feedback loop. Driven by recursion, fractals are images of dynamic systems, the pictures of chaos. Geometrically, they exist in between our familiar dimensions. Fractal patterns are extremely familiar, since nature is full of fractals. For example, trees, rivers, coastlines, mountains, clouds, seashells, hurricanes, etc. Abstract fractals, such as the Mandelbrot set, can be generated by a computer calculating a simple equation over and over. Natural fractals include branching patterns like trees, river networks, lightning bolts, blood vessels, etc., and spiral patterns such as seashells, hurricanes, galaxies, and in other atmospheric conditions. Have you ever looked up at the sky to see a beautiful pattern of clouds against the sunset? That's a perfect example of a fractal in nature. For our team presentation, we will be sharing some examples of fractals found in nature that we feel depict the beautiful combination of math, science, and art that can be discovered when viewing images specific to geology, human anatomy, plant life, and trees, and atmospheric conditions. We can see similarities between the different categories with branching fractals and spiral fractals. And what is a fractal, you might ask? Well, a fractal is a mathematical set or a natural phenomenon that has self-similarity or repeating pattern at every scale. Looking at the fractals in geology, we can see them from space, from a satellite, from an airplane, from the ground, and all the way down to a microscope. The repeating pattern of the rivers and continued branching can be seen in this slide, along with more chaotic fractal patterns of the mountains. Mountains are the result of tectonic forces pushing the crust upward, earthquakes and erosion tearing some of that crust down. Those things result in fractals, as you can see in those images. Nature has these repeating patterns at every scale. As you can see in these images, you have blood vessels of the human body with the branching fractals. It can also be seen in the human brain and fingerprints with spiral fractals. Both branching and spiral fractals are found in plant life. From the branches of the tree to the individual leaves, we find the repeating patterns of fractals. These are many plants and vegetables that have the Fibonacci numbers found in their spirals and branching patterns. So much in nature seems to link to math. Dividing a fractal pattern into parts, you can get a reduced size copy of the whole. And those three images are some examples. When looking at fractals in nature, it's amazing to consider that the atmospheric conditions contain fractals as well. Atmospheric conditions are not like plants and mountains and human anatomy. The atmospheric changes constantly depending on the weather conditions, storms, cloud cover, and rain, but it's alive with fractals. The spiral fractal of the hurricane, the branching fractal of lightning, and more chaotic fractals in clouds. It's fascinating to see nature do its thing. I apologize, I'm not a singer, but here we go. So in conclusion, we can say we stand our ground. It's pretty clear that there are frozen fractals all around, and our thoughts crystallize just like an icy blast. We're never going back. We need to pass this class.